I like. Well,
it reminds me. Hello.
Hi. We're just talking about my nails because I got them done.
It's Tuesday. It's every Tuesday where we talk about things here on Cleric Talk. My name is Michael.
We call them Pink Taco Tuesdays.
Cindy, we do not call it those.
I do.
My name is Michael Gramling, the Bard Creative.
And I am Cindy Munoz, the High Priestess 710.
And today, we have stuff to talk about.
We have lots of things to talk about.
Yes.
We don't have, too much, inside news. There's a couple exciting things to announce that are happening, but this is more kind of a review of what happened. First off, I want to touch on the fact that it is snowing here in Washington.
Yes. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new, welcome. If you're a veteran, it's good to see you as always.
Yes.
Drop in the chat. We'll say what's up. Hey Fritz, good to see you as always.
I got to play in a game with Fritz finally.
I didn't. Okay, so we'll get to things, but number one, it is snowing. It snowed here in the Pacific Northwest.
It did not snow where I'm at, though. I mean, it snowed a little bit where I'm at. I'm out here where the studio is and a little further up in Browns Point area where I live, 10 minutes away from here, maybe less. It snowed a little and kind of left some stuff on the grass for you to wake up to be like, oh, what a pretty day in Washington. It's so Washington. And then it's just gone by the afternoon, you know what I mean? But you people out in Seattle areas, in northern Seattle.
Yes. No, even Tacoma. Tacoma had a pretty good amount of snow as well.
I was leaving a store yesterday in the area of Federal Way, and it was starting to flurry, and I had to go it started flurrying when I stopped at Bank of America to go deposit some stuff, and it was in my face, and I'm in the drive-thru, and I'm like, God, I'm too short. I have to open the door to get to the thing.
And I think late last night, Katie and I were watching the snow, and it was just it was just sweet. It was sweet. And all of a sudden, there's big flakes, and I was like, oh, I gotta go to bed. But yeah, so hopefully it snowed for some of you guys. Whether you love the snow or not, it's here.
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice.
Personally, I like the snow.
I only like the snow if I plan it correctly, and it means I'm going to go snowboarding for the day, and I haven't done that in years, so I technically fucking hate the snow.
I've never been snowboarding.
Really?
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, I know I've been snowboarding, but I was blacked out drunk. So
that's fair.
I don't remember. I was told I was pretty good at it.
Well, I mean, your legs still work, so
that's what I'm saying. I haven't done it in a while. I had the whole setup. I just have to go.
So what you're telling me is that we need to get a fifth of Fireball and then head to the mountains.
Yeah, no, Gentleman's Jack is my preferred.
Oh, I'm down.
Or you know what you do too to really get things pumping?
What?
You do Jaeger bombs.
Jaeger bombs.
The Jaeger bombs really warm you up.
All that caffeine is good for your soul.
You get hyped. You're like, I want to go jump a box. Yeah! And everyone's screaming, yeah! And you go and do it.
Everyone's just screaming, yeah! Today's announcements. First and foremost, Demons and Devils with Danny. It is canceled tonight due to inclement weather.
No, I did not lead with the weather because of this.
So tune in next week. Continue the descent into Avernus.
Yes.
All things.
We will continue to descend because we haven't descended quite yet, but I'm excited about the descension. Wait, that's a Cindyism, isn't it? But the descending of the group. Descension is a good.
That's a good one.
Oh my God, guys! See what reading. Dude, playing Dungeons and Dragons starts to make you so smart. Seriously, if I would have had Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, I would be a freaking genius.
You'd be literate.
I would be a literate genius.
Listen, guys, I can use proper English.
English.
Yes.
I know.
So tune in next week as they descend deeper into the demons and devils with Danny. Other than that, the Essentials kit, we've been waiting to finish and do the grand finale. That is happening on the 30th. So tune in about 2 weeks. Watch as me, Cindy, Lo, and Lee face the dragon of Icespire Peak.
We will face it.
And ultimately, I will destroy them all. Or not. Or maybe.
You would never do that to your daughter.
No. I came close one time. With Ankh eggs.
But Sylvie holds too much of a dear place in your heart.
You'll be the only survivor. Everyone else will die.
That sounds about right for like an ending of a dramatic movie. You know what I mean? Like you're like, all the adults are dead. You find out your aunt's been dead and your other aunt's been lying to you about it, and now you're truly left with no one and can't find your way back home to mom and dad. Good luck.
You awaken to see.
She's like, that isn't that the same? That's the fucking premise with Christian Bale on The Rising Sun. Is that not where he like gets lost in war?
Basically.
I mean, and he's like trying to find his mom and dad like after he gets separated and puts in like all these camps and shit. That was a really sad. Oh my god, that would be a really sad ending now that I'm thinking about this.
I won't do that to you. Jasper, maybe Jasper will live. I don't know. Or someone random.
We'll find out. It's me.
Those are our morning announcements. It is Monday. We just finished the weekend. No, we
have one more announcement.
We have one more announcement.
Yes, please. If you were looking for something to do, I want to double check on my dates, but I believe in 2 weeks we will also be on the 1st, the weekend of the 1st of February. We will be at Nerd Fair.
Oh, you're going to Nerd Fair.
Yeah, we will be at Nerd Fair.
Well, that segues right into OrcaCon, which happened. It was on the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
It happened so quickly.
Yes.
It was so fast.
There's tons of pictures and good stuff on the social medias. If you follow us, if not, check us out. We're on all sorts of social media. Yeah,
Josh gets very active on Instagram and Facebook. I tend to split responsibilities with the Twitter, but if you're looking for a lot of activity, the Instagram is probably the most poppin'.
I see the Cleric on Discord a lot too.
Oh my gosh. Well, he is, and he's like thoroughly enjoying. He's like, this is what we always needed for the community. And I'm like, we know.
So
he's super
if you're in the
talkative.
Pacific Northwest and you like D&D, maybe you want to play anything of that nature, check out cdmg, the Discord channel. It's a great community. You'll find stores and areas near you with people that are active and always looking for new players to play games. So you guys can check that out.
Is that the CDD, ICDD, or the Ocean D&D?
It's the Ocean C D&D. The CEA for
Seattle.
Yeah. The
like
name,
SeaTac Airport.
The name may change, but currently it is CD&D. The SEA with an S and a D and a D. Moving on. OrcaCon was a huge hit.
It
Super
was
successful.
They announced on their Twitter that they reached their what do they call it? Their top off, like cap off.
They sold all of their tickets.
So they had I believe 14. Was it 14,000? Hold on, let me double check the Twitter.
1,400.
14 million.
Their pre-sales were 900. They had 900 pre-sold tickets.
1,400 sounds about right then.
So 1,400, like 500 walk-ins seems actually really good for walk-ins.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic news. It's good to see OrcaCon getting a lot more love and them hitting their maximum allotted capacities.
1,400, which is their cap. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
and they're
that's
already
fantastic.
having registration is going to be opening up here soon. They say to get prepared
for
next year.
2021.
There's some rumors that they might have more things at 2 different hotels, like one next to the other.
Okay.
So we might. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about everything that's going on, but there was some talk about us maybe getting into a bigger location. We had about 10 tables. We had some issues with chairs, but we made do. And
did they stick you guys in the hallway again?
Okay, so remember
because there's that small room.
There's a small room where they always have us at OrcaCon.
Yeah.
Then there's the vendor hall right next to it, the little tiny vendor hall room. Then there's that hallway, that enclave hallway or little thing right next to that leads to like nothing but the side of the hotel or something.
Yeah. It's an emergency exit.
Yeah, something like that. Well, they set up all those tables and we took all those tables and we took the tables in that room. So altogether we had 10. They gave us an extra little table inside there. So we set up our shop. We had our friends from North Fundry, Fritz and his beautiful, lovely wife, who's amazing, and their beautiful, wonderful dog Astrid that was there.
I saw there's a snap of Mushi.
Mushi is now deemed part of a crew, and
Yeah.
I think he's pretty stoked. And I'm pretty proud of the little guy. Him and Zeke made new friends this weekend.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I hardly saw my 9-year-old son.
Dude, he was
I don't know.
everywhere.
He was
Doing
like,
his thing.
yeah, he was
He'd come
covered.
back and he's like, look at all these like dozens of things that I got. It was like, okay.
I went and found him in like one of the main little gaming hall rooms where they had like people like showing off some of their games and stuff, their board games. And I found him in there, and this guy's like, "Are you mom?" and introduced himself and was like, "Your son's been a pleasure." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And my only rule was like, keep your damn cell phone on you if I'm gonna pay for that thing. Like, you better keep that on you. It's not for just playing video games.
When I call, you answer.
That pretty much. And he learned his lesson. He was like, okay, after the first time he did it, he was pretty good about keeping it on him. I was like, if your phone dies, that means you come back and you sit and let it charge. So he learned to not be on his phone most of this weekend, using up the battery so he could save up the battery so he could be out as long as he could.
Can we hear the Mushi escapade story?
What's the Mushi escapade story? What did Mushi do?
That's so embarrassing.
Bum, 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 bum,
Okay,
bum,
so
bum.
I'm in my hotel room.
Speak louder.
I'm in my hotel room. And we have some visitors that come in also. Travis Woodall and his wife. And I have the sliding glass door open. And I'm trying to clean something up. And my son is playing with Mushi. And he doesn't hold Mushi. He just kind of lets him do his own thing apparently while I was busy not paying attention.
Okay.
And Mushi went jetting out the slider of the hotel, which leads out into this little ravine.
You were on the
creek.
ground floor, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he went jetting out, and Zeke's just standing at the door at first, like, Mushi, no, don't go. And I'm like, move out of the way.
I really imagine him saying like, Mushi, no, stop.
That's really accurate.
Mushi got away.
That's really accurate on how this was being, how
you had to go back. I'm watching
reenacting
PewDiePie.
So I was just like, and I go running out, and I'm like, God damn it, Mushi! And Zeke tries to run out to help, but for some reason when Zeke runs after him, he really runs fast. And so I'm like, get back inside! And so I'm running, and next thing I know, I see next to me running faster than me is Travis Woodall.
Oh, nice.
And he's trying to go after the dog. And then I'm done screaming for the dog at one point. And Ellie's behind me. She's like, Cindy, scream for your dog. And I'm like, oh, jeez. Mushi! And I'm like, you're a good boy. Trying to get him to come to me.
No.
At one point, we're literally running around the whole hotel. That's a pretty big hotel.
Yeah.
He's running around the whole hotel. There's mud. Travis almost falls. I'm almost slipping. One foot's quicksanding into the mud, and you know what I mean? It's a fucking shit show.
Like what?
It sucks.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
So Ben, you can't be showing me that stuff in the middle of a story, dude. Build-A-Bear, Baby Yoda, woot woot. Anyways, so finally, Travis and we all get around. Travis has got a way more advantage than me. And Mushi, there's a car that's coming through the driveway, little area. And Mushi's like, oh shit, that's a big car. You know what I mean? It was just a smaller car. But he was like, oh no. And he kind of looks at Travis, and Travis looks at him. And there's this moment of come on, I'll keep you safe. And Mushi's like, yeah, no, super psych. And he keeps running again. And
yeah, no, super psych.
And he's coming at me now. And I was like, yay, good boy, come here. And he's all, yeah, super psych to you too, lady. And he fucking rears off again. And then he's about to go to Ellie, and he rears again with the third super psych and almost lands himself in this pond swampy area and almost sinks in and then realizes it and gets himself back up, and he kind of looks over I'm defeated. You know,
I have lost.
He gets back up to a little area, and then finally we're all like, what are you doing? And then he's like, all right. And he kind of rolls over I give up. Like, life flag.
That was such a fun game we played, you guys.
Dude, everyone's just like, you're a bad boy.
That's so funny.
So that was the embarrassing shit show. That'd be the second time that dog has embarrassed me with poor Travis. First with humping his dog in the face.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing.
And then turning around and making Travis chase after him in mud.
He said, "Can't touch this." Super psych.
I mean, but fucking look at that face.
Super psych.
He's so fucking cute. And it's like, it's so confusing for the psyche. Because you're like, I want to fucking punish you. And then he looks at you like that, and you're like, Ibisuki. I mean, if you're a dog or cat owner, you can understand what I'm saying. It's I'm embarrassed.
It's fine.
Thanks a lot, Mushi. That's why you're not here.
Is he at home right now?
Yeah, he's at home watching.
Oh, good boy.
We're gonna lie too and say Ahsoka's here. I'm just kidding. No, Ahsoka's not here either.
It's a school snow day, so Ahsoka's at home with her mom.
Oh, yeah,
dang,
no,
she got called out.
pictures.
Zeke was so pissed. We kept him yesterday because we weren't sure, and we're like, you know what? We don't. Oh, Peyton, we love you too. Peyton came out. And she helped out so much with things because she wasn't signed up, but she really wanted to be there because she wasn't sure if she was going to make it. But she came and filled in for things. She was amazing, as always. I love
She
Peyton.
took over the admin position for the Eberron epic.
Yes, she came in, she helped, and then ended up taking over at the end, which I can't tell you thank you enough, Peyton, for that, because
Cool.
it was kind of crazy. Nobody really knew what the fuck was going on, so we really appreciate.
Did she have it like you've got 4 minutes to learn
Dude,
everything
and
you need to know?
Not just that, but she fucking had to go and fuck with people. Big Mo is here to attack. Yes, she played Big Mo.
Big Mo.
So we'll get into it. You'll find out who Big Mo is. I don't want to give away too much. If I don't know. Maybe I guess we can have some spoilers.
I'm gonna put Big
fuck it, right?
Mo. There we go. Don't forget. Remember.
Fuck it, eh? I'm gonna cholo fucking mean this shit.
Okay, me. So OrcaCon also, there was other things that happened at OrcaCon.
Yes.
You had your premiere.
I DM for the first time.
Yes.
And I had, okay, so like, remember how everyone's like, we're gonna have a table of friends for you for the first time you DM.
Yeah, we're all gonna be there to support you.
So, I mean, I made new friends.
Nobody was there.
Except for
crickets.
Josh was there, and I'm really proud of him because he was supportive in the manner that he didn't like mansplain things. He didn't you know how Josh wants to like shelter me and like kind of always do things for me because he loves me, and so like he's like, I don't want you to be embarrassed, so let me do this for you. He fucking backed off. He played his character, and it was beautiful. It was a very beautiful moment in our relationship, I have to say. All the hard work of 10 years has really paid off at that one DMing moment for me.
Good.
Yes, I had Mike Olson.
Mm-hmm. I like Mike Olson.
Well, I love Michael Olson, but he is very challenging to a DM, and he was very cool with me. They had a couple moments. Fritz was there. Fritz was fucking awesome. He's in the back because like I'm sitting at this table that's like here, and then off like right here is like the little sales the sales table, and then there's the door that leads out, right?
Okay, yeah.
So he's got his dice and some minis that he's showing off that's on the Kickstarter. Check out the Kickstarter banking. You put up the Kickstarter so people can see how amazing these minis are that he put.
I don't think they're out yet.
No, it's not. Oh, hey Marshmallow. Nice having you here, sweetheart. Oh my god. Wait, I think I have
There's
one.
so many things happening.
Okay, hold on. Side note. I have a special present for Zeke. Because remember how he created a Warforged? This is one, a little trial one that Fritz got us, so you guys can see what to expect in this Kickstarter. But this was created so that for Zeke's birthday coming up in February, I'm gonna paint Baymax It's going to be white with the red and black armor. So he's going to be white underneath.
Yeah.
With the black and red armor on the outside. I'm going to paint it for Zeke. I don't know if you can you see that? Isn't that like gorgeous? Look at that thing. Because he has a maul. So this was like the best he could do for the maul. Because Zeke's character was like, I want a maul to just whack people with. And so isn't that gorgeous?
That's
and I don't have to wash it. I don't have to do all that stuff. He took care of all that for me, and even primed it and everything.
Hold on. He goes, I don't trust you. I already washed it and primed it. That's what was said.
So I mean, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. So if you guys have a chance, please go onto the website, support them, because the more you support them, that means the more they're going to be able to have an availability. And I mean, these are amazing pieces. Charles is such a talented individual.
That's really cool. I really like the depth in between the armor. That's probably the coolest part.
Fritzy says, I mean, that was a general to the group. I don't trust you. Also inclusive of Ben. Awesome. I know. I don't trust me either, dude. I would have painted it and then be like, oh, Fritz, I fucked it up. And you'd be like, oh, no.
I got the website up now. There's a link in the chat. Like, you can still pre-order their previous set, which includes their copyright things of Dragonkind, Dragonkin. I don't know what they're. I can't remember.
There's some things for the adventuring editors.
Really cool
I love him.
Dragonfolk, dwarf. They're forged. Mm-hmm. They're Ravenkind.
I love the Ravenkind, the Kenku.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And the turtles are pretty dope too.
Dude, and they're even more. He was painting all weekend, so they're gorgeous when when he's done with them.
I saw there was a quick video of like there was a display case with a bunch of minis and it was rotating slowly.
Yes, the dice that are at the bottom are his they're stone like cat eye line. Mm-hmm. So each one's got this like beautiful shine when you move them in the light, and they're like heavy stones. Mm-hmm. God, and some of what was it, the Norse dice, right? The ones with the runes on them. Yeah. Oh God, they're so. I want a set of those. Those ones. If you guys ever see them at the cons nearby you, and they're there visiting, I highly suggest grabbing yourself a set.
They're also like their metal dice are reasonably priced. As a person who only buys metal dice now, like. Just to get a solid set of metal dice is like $35, which is really good. $35, because like the newest set that has come out is like $60 for the like new thing right now. So
I thought he said that the other metal ones are $80. I thought
those were the gemstone ones.
Oh, were those the gemstone ones that were $80?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the ones that he had right there in that display case were just the color options. I was like, okay, I can't stand here and not name them now. And I'm like naming them after each Disney princess because they all have the right color for it. And Chris just starts laughing because I know she's as diehard of a Disney fan as I am, especially when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Side note, have you seen, there's the picture of, Kara from The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. He said the cat eyes and the opalates are $80, which I can't believe. Like, that is fucking a steal.
The opalite's the multicolor shiny, but like white pearly.
No, they're opal. They're the opal stones. They're like white with like it's an opal. They're gorgeous. And then the Norse one's $35. Damn it. See, I thought he said those ones were $80. I would have bought a set that day because I really wanted to buy those powder baby blue ones that he has.
Same.
You got those?
No.
Oh.
Clemens did. Ben Clemens did. Oh. And I wanted them so bad.
Dude, I want the powder baby blues. They make me think of... Okay, so I'm not a big Cinderella fan.
Yeah.
But I do love Cinderella's dress. And then it's like got that same feel as like Elsa. You know what I mean? Like it's just got that like frosty like... They real pretty. They are. They're so... And any guy can get them because they're like, oh, powder baby blue. You know what I mean? So like it'd go with your Frost character.
It's the color
but
of
as
my
a girl,
color.
like, oh, they're just so pretty. They're so pretty.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the green has got like that... It's like that Ariel green, like her tail. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're so cool.
Kind of sea foamy, greeny.
You know, I know a guy who knows a guy. Exactly. So So,
so
I gotta get a set now. Now that I know that they're only $35 for sure, I'm gonna buy them. Get me one of those. Maybe at Nerd Fair. Get me some of those.
Give me one of them.
But okay. So enough about all this stuff. I really want to ask a DM question before we jump in, because if the rest of you DMs know what I'm talking about, please jump in and tell me I'm not the only one. Why is it your shittiest fucking dice that you play with that like always roll hella low when you play? Then as a DM, we're like 20, 18, 19, crit. You're like, motherfucker, how is this happening right now? You're like, D8, 8. What the fuck? I'm killing these people. I'm not even trying to. I haven't brought my shittiest dice. Like, Crit happens. Yeah, I know, but
I've discovered that some dice simply want to kill people. And
dude.
I had one set of dice, and that's literally all it did. And like, you will come to understand that there are some dice you can only DM with, and some dice you can only play with. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I thought that the ones that I couldn't play with were the ones that I could DM with. I'm like, all right, these are my really shitty ones. Like, I've had these in fucking dice jail forever, and I'm gonna bring them out of the darkness so they can continue to fucking do me wrong.
Want vengeance.
Oh, dude, they came out with fucking heat. I was like, I'm sorry.
The time we were playing and I was killing you guys with the onkegs, and I'm like, I'm getting you guys. I'm rolling crits and stuff. Those are my DM. I had to put those to the side because I was like, we're getting too close.
Dude, okay, so like I'm sitting here and because I realized as I'm DMing, so what I will say is that coming into this DMing thing, I wanted my players to walk away happy. You know what I mean? I don't want them to feel like they didn't get challenged enough, but I didn't want them to walk away dying. All right? Because I wanted them, it's a tier 1, level 1 game. But you're such
a fresh and lovely DM.
I am. The reason I want that is because I wanted my first time to be like a, okay, nobody's mad at me situation. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want people to be like, wow, dude, she's fucking, not only does she suck, but she fucking killed my character that I just made. Like, what the fuck's her problem? You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know what she's doing. I was very, very, you are your own worst, your own harshest critic. You know
Give it a couple of games, it'll change.
Okay, so.
But anyways.
So I felt like that's how I wanted to go into it.
Yeah.
And like the dice were like, nah, bitch, that's not how we're playing this.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the police.
Seriously, I have no idea. I was like, I brought out, my really nice purple ones, the stones.
Yeah.
That the like rainbow something or whatever, and I lost the D8 out of there. Remember how shitty those roll? Like I was always like 3, 4, 3.
Yeah, I always rolled low.
Super low. No, dude, I was critting like a.
So what you mean to tell me is you were stoning your players? Just bam! Oh, get some bam!
And then I'm like, all right. They're like, dude, your dice. And I'm doing it out. Like at one point I had the DM screen, and then I'm so short that like.
Reaching over and doing all that.
It was just a pain in my ass. You know what I mean? And then at one point.
I don't even like using a DM screen for that reason.
Same here.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna figure something out. I'll figure something. I'm gonna hit up Rachel from C4, and I'm gonna ask to come down to the lab and see if I can help figure something out for us. For at least the short ones. I know you don't like
just
it.
Like
everyone
something
can
that's
use
a couple
them.
of inches tall, like that tall.
Just something to put the fucking little chickies on it.
The what?
The chickies, the little fucking markies,
Put the little chickies on it.
Dude, okay, so. Yes, Fritz, we will get to that here in a minute. I will tell you that the shit that I had to throw out, yeah.
There's a cockroach.
Stoning her players. Dude, you have no idea. Look at what else is in this module. Hold on. What the fuck is that? A corpse sculpture with a hit point of 67 hit points. Granted, the armor class is only 9. But when you got a whole table of people rolling hella low,
speed's only 10 feet.
Right. So, but look at how many hits and how multi attacks that it's got. Look at what it does before it even has to attack. I had to throw some shit at my players.
This is almost a skin over of a gibbering mouther.
It's
Sorry, this is a terrifying ass thing. This will kill people. This is tier 1. This will annihilate some people.
I took out like 3 players, but they came back, thank God.
That's good.
So, okay.
This even ruins people, dude.
Let's see, what does Hamlet say? Some days you want the beholder to use his disintegration ray, but never rolls it, and then they get banished. Fritz writes, I mean, there was a cockatrice in the mission, so yes to stoning her players. Yeah,
that's so funny.
And the damage against the level 1 char is our character is terrifying. Tier 1 doing 17 damage. I shot to dead casters. Or 1 shot to dead casters. Yeah. No, okay, look it. So,
they give you
dude, I picked a fucking doozy for my first one. I gotta tell you.
Nah, you did great.
I think it was great because it allowed me to have to like jump into the deep end into the situation. Mm-hmm. But at least it wasn't in the deep end in the dark with no lights in the pool, because that would have been the epic. If I would have fucking been like, yeah, I want to fucking DM the epic, I would have literally grabbed an ice pick and just stabbed it in my temple.
One thing that I love as a DM is because there's a couple of pages of monsters in here. I feel like, was that really daunting for you? So that there's so many stat blocks.
So my biggest problem in my DMing is the stat blocks. I have a couple different things that are challenges for me that I learned a lot DMing for the first time. Mm-hmm. The monster stat blocks are very daunting, yes, because I am looking at actions and then I'm not paying attention to right above it, because right above it says like the skills, its senses, its languages, and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like, I don't fucking need that information because no one's gonna try talking to it. No one gives a shit about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I go and I look back and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. And like, yes, I did read the module ahead of time, but with what I read, I thought I knew what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know. I messed up because my biggest criticism to myself, and then when I talked to Josh, I was like, give me a criticism sandwich. I want to know what I did wrong, what I did right, and then what I did wrong again. And he's like, okay, I guess I can do that.
Give me a criticism
I'm such a business person. I'm like, give me a criticism sandwich. And he's like, we're laying in bed, and he's like, what? Okay. So he tells me like, it seemed like I didn't read the module. My biggest problem, and like this goes back into school, like I suck at tests. So like if I read things, I can read things every day, the same goddamn thing every day for like a month. And I still will fucking forget huge chunks of things. Mm-hmm. And so I have to figure out something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have to figure it out. I used to be the kid that you would see like literally walking into the classroom and then sitting at their desk still trying to read the chapter, and everyone thinks like, oh, she didn't study, and it's like, no, I fucking did. I just don't remember parts and I'm trying to fucking cram it in there to remember it at the last second. So like that's my biggest problem. Okay. My other one was like I said, the monster stats. It's a little overwhelming. I needed to read a little bit more extensively of what I was doing.
I mean, what I will say is like you've got basically 20 pages of adventure, and
there's so much NPC interaction because the way
there's a lot, like there's like pages after pages of dialogue, and that can get really tough.
And that's where my biggest problem was, because Josh was like, you would start to lose us because you would be trying to fucking catch up on what you were reading. Because I'm like, oh God, I don't want to forget this. You know, I want to make sure that when they ask me these questions, he's like, but as soon as the voices start and the personality came out, he's like, you like pull this right back into the story. And like, there was one character where there was 2 characters that they had to go talk to. The first one's the liar. The second one is not. They're both shitty guys, right?
Is that
Zodar and Drave.
Okay.
So Zodar and Drave, you talk to Zodar and he's completely. So spoiler alerts: if you haven't fucking played this, you're gonna
earmuffs.
So, okay, before I tell you this part, this module is literally just introducing the characters. That's all it is. It's just introducing the characters that you're now going to follow in the next fucking however many, like, of the storyline that you're going to go to. I know for the next 4, that's out there, or is it 3 or 4? 4, right?
There's 4 modules.
4 modules. The 4 of them, those are the ones that you're gonna meet these people again, right? And you decide whether you want to work with them or not. One of the girls that's in here that you find later on in the story again, there's an option whether you fucking let her go or bring her back to justice, right? Well, the first guy's is like trying to convince you that he's not a liar and that you should believe him, and he's a lot more charismatic. So everyone's like kind of questioning him, but they're rolling really shitty. So to them, he's fucking telling the truth.
Yeah.
The other guy's just a fucking pompousy asshole. He's just a jerk. The way they introduce him, the way he responds to people, he's like, don't fucking waste my time with this bullshit type of a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and because you came and wasted my time, these other people are gonna fucking die because I'm not gonna deal with this shit. Like you like threaten you're gonna go and kill them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you're sending your henchmen and shit. So then when you go to find out, you find out that the guy was the liar. That was the second guy that you talked to. He's actually the liar and the really, really bad guy. And the other guy's a bad guy, but he's not like, well, he wasn't lying to you. He was lying about other things. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone in Eberron is kind of working together, but as frenemies. So they're all doing things together, but then there's like these little mini pockets of organizations and other things that are going on behind the scenes, and everyone's in on it for themselves.
Okay. That sounds like Eberron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean that's the premise of what the Oracle of War is. And there's like I learned something. I learned that there was giant like Titan style warforges that were created in the war. I didn't realize that. And so like Big Mo that you saw them mention, he's one of these that they get to work to like start up again, and he comes to cause some damage and salvation. And this is what the epic is about. The epic is all about trying to figure out how to take down
there's
Big Mo.
An excerpt that I read, and it's a letter from a child during the war, and they talk about a giant Titan coming and devastating the land.
Yeah. Babe, can you find the really cool picture that shows like this, like it shows like a city, and then it has like a warforge like with a huge, like it looks like a spear coming out of it. I can only imagine how big that spear is, and it's like slumped up against like this huge wall, like pillar thing, and then you could see like the whole city like in like kind of in the distance in front of it. If you could find that, just put an Eberron like Titan warforge. I think it was Charles that found the picture and was like, yeah, this is what it looks like, and showed it to me while we're playing the epic. I got to play with Fritz. That was fun.
Yeah?
He was awesome. So Zeke was not there to play my buddied up Cleric forge that's supposed to be my partner as it. And I fucking went down a couple times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it was, and I went up to Zeke and I was like, it's your fault that Hida almost died. And he's like, what? What? I go, Baymax wasn't there to save her. You guys are a freaking team, and you just went and left her.
This is the...
He's about to show it.
This is the cover art. Here we go.
Okay, so that's the cover art.
There's the Titan and the spear hitting it.
Is that a spear hitting it? I can't tell.
I don't know.
I was looking at it through a phone.
Yeah, he might be holding.
Oh, he might be holding a spear. Okay.
But I mean, like.
Either way, that's a fucking large spear.
Yeah.
First off. Second off, look how huge that construct is, and it's supposed to be again from the House of Canna. That's my crew. That's my crew, okay? Don't talk shit.
But yeah, no, I mean, one thing I gotta give them, like, a lot of the, like, the story designers and stuff in Eberron and whatnot, like, I loved the excerpt that I read about the giant colossal titan, and, like, that's, I mean, again, I side with the anti-Warforged humans, because, okay, come on, dude. You can't trust something that was designed to kill you, okay?
No, look.
Can't do it. That's just me.
Our constructs are the best constructs. and they will do what is told to them to do. And if they're told to stand down, they will stand down. Okay?
Tell that to the devastated wasteland that your constructs have
That's like
created.
trying to tell me that a dog is bad because it's trained to make sure it attacks in war or something, but then it's actually a good dog.
On a side note, there was an article about there was a guy that was running dog fights.
You better not bring that attitude strong.
And they saved. I'm totally bringing this out.
Fritz loves the Forge just as much as I do. So that's like the thing. Constructs don't kill people. People kill people. Sometimes using constructs. Yes,
I would believe in that statement if constructs weren't sentient. That's the only argument.
They were designed that
They're
way
sentient.
to be.
They have their own minds.
Good.
It's different. It's different.
Look at
Baymax could be programmed to kill. IG-88 or IG-11 programmed to kill.
Hey,
but
IG-11 was reprogrammed as a nursery bot, and then guess what is like my primary function? I have to kill some mofos. That's not a nursing bot, okay? That's a bot that's designed to kill.
Thank you, Fritz. That is the best nurse bot. It's doing its job, just like any sort of mother would kill for its.
I was a huge fan of that scene.
Child to care for.
Go deliver to his daddy, like.
Yeah, it did what it did, and if it has to kill to protect it,
what did IG
will.
said? IG was like, "Promise me that you'll take care of the baby" or something like that.
Yeah.
To Mando.
IG-11, Mama Bear the fuck out of Baby Yoda. That's right. I agree with that.
So it took me. I didn't end up watching the final episode till like almost 2 weeks after, and so like I kept seeing.
I know that feeling when
these
the
little
Avengers
blips.
was out.
They're talking about like a stormtrooper like punching Baby Yoda, and I was like, oh, that got spoiled for me. And then I watched it and I forgot about it, and I was like, oh, you son of a! And I was like throwing stuff.
Zeke was getting so mad, and I was getting mad.
Bro, those stormtroopers bopped him so bad. Is he dead? I don't know. You just want to look at it.
The funniest thing about that scene was like the red versus blue comedy that those two stormtroopers had.
No, the dialogue was very well done. It was it reminded me of very Coen Brother-ish. You know what I mean? Like it had that Coen Brother like flavor, like feel to it with the conversation between the two. And like Josh lives for like conversation. Like he loves stupid conversation because he can see the like what is like they're trying to do in that conversation.
Yeah.
So like to someone who doesn't understand that kind of shit, like they'll sit there and be like, this is really boring. You know what I mean? But Josh loves it. And that was one of those moments where he thoroughly enjoyed the conversation part.
Yeah.
But like it was definitely set up to make you like laugh but then want to hate them. You know, like it was very emotionally confusing.
That's so funny. Oh, okay.
Ask me.
Let's get back to some of this.
I'm gonna take a dab here while we're fucking. Well, look at it. It's snowy. It's coldy. I want chicken nuggets.
Throw out part of our new segment.
What's our new segment?
Well, not yet.
While she's taking the dab, like.
Talk.
No, I have something else that I want to bring up before we get into it. But I'm really excited for the moment. Okay. Anyways, spoiler alert. Things are going to happen in the future. While you're pulling that up, one thing we skipped over was WotC just released the leak for the new book coming out. It's going to be released on March 17th. It is the Explorer's Guide to Wildermount.
No, it is not AL legal.
No, this
Couple
is...
things. First of all, WotC didn't. Amazon leaked it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Fucking Amazon!
It is not the official announcement that WotC said that they're going to have, as far as I know.
WotC said that they were going to announce it on the 9th. They said that they were going to announce the actual book, or on the 14th. Today's the 14th.
Today.
That would be today. But they did say in the article when they released L'Oreal.
So Dungeons and Dragons Wizards on Twitter announced.
Yeah.
And Greg Tito confirmed. So on the 13th at 1:32 p.m., they tweeted the hashtag Wildmount has rocketed to number 3 bestseller on Amazon today. So they're already like, and then
So
Greg Tito.
So pre-sales have begun. You can
They're number one
pre-order
now.
it.
Since 22 hours ago.
Yeah.
Announced by Greg Tito from D&D Talk.
So, I mean, the amount of supporters Critical Role has, like, it's obvious that they would hit that. That they had to hit some high number. But March 17th...
more coming up, I think, no?
Well, maybe. March 17th is when the actual book and the digital version will be released on D&D Beyond. You can pre-order it. I think you can pre-order it at your local game store. You can also pre-order it on Amazon or from the D&D website. I think they might have that too.
I don't know if you can see it.
But the Explorer's Guide to Wildermount is the Critical Role campaign
Can't see it.
setting. It's primarily based on the second season. It's been created in partnership with Critical Role, so you're expecting a bunch of excerpts and stuff from Matt Mercer and the crew on how to integrate your characters, things like that. You can expect this book to be packed, absolutely packed with content. A couple of people are speculating that it's going to talk about the descriptions of the major factions. One thing that I'm looking forward to is they're talking about in the book, they have a whole segment on how to integrate your character into the world. And that's something that I like.
It's very Acquisition Incorporated is how I think they decided to do it. Because we all know, if you guys are familiar, Matt Mercer already has some campaigns that he released that are Critical Role orientated, which are called, what are they called again, Ben? The book... the Critical Role books that Matt Mercer has released, like his campaigns, what are they called?
No, I've one. It's the Guide to Tal'Dorei.
Yeah.
This is the second one.
Yeah, this is. So
wait, say it again, Ben.
I think the Guide to Tal'Dorei or Tal'Dorei. From what I'm researching now, they did push back the official announcement of what they were going to do, since this one got leaked to the middle of March. So
yeah. So we can expect to see that in March. I'm pretty excited. I'm a big Matt Mercer fan. I really like watching all of his DMing
Hence
tips.
the hair.
No. I love his DMing tips and a lot of stuff that he goes through. I think he's a fantastic storyteller, which he is. So that's great. So I'm excited to see some of the stuff that he puts in there to kind of help DMs and settings and things.
Thanks, Mikey. Yeah, you just go boop boop. All done. Thank you.
Easy. So that's awesome. You'll see obviously there's going to be new magic items, new monsters, all sorts of things. I think it'll be a cool book. It's going to have a couple hundred pages in it. It's going to be really packed, chock full of amazing stuff. With all the support Critical Role has, we can really kind of see that's going to be pushed into this book.
Now, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan, not because I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I just have never gotten into it. I'm more of a fan of Girls Guts Glory, that kind of stuff. I love them, their storylines, and because the reason I like them, I'd have to say, is because I was able to get in at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to kind of follow through to some of these stories from some of these newer podcasts or streamers or YouTubers. But honestly, I'm just obsessed with Netflix and Hulu. So,
I feel
but I would like to watch it. Is there any way, for someone like me, if I wanted to I have 4 to 6 hours on the road and I drive up to OMAC to go work.
So,
is there ways of downloading it offline?
It's a
podcasts kind of?
There's a podcast for it.
Jumping in towards the second season, what they're doing right now, skipping the beginning, the first season, it's totally fine to hop in now, because they've really started to kind of master their craft. And it being a podcast, it's all audio and it's fantastic.
Well, yeah, and then it's been difficult because every time I go to get into it, I'm watching it, and then they have that big intro where it's just more fit colors. So it's difficult for me to get into that.
So
you know,
the reason
and that's
that
why
is for their first season is I think a lot of their stuff got copywritten by the artists themselves.
Yes.
So they had to take out, or I think it's D&D art that they just threw in there, so they had to blur that out.
Yeah,
but
they
like,
do a
the
little more
voiceover still works just to explain.
No,
the characters.
I know, but when you're trying to watch it,
Yeah.
it's a little difficult. I kind of tend
We got a
maybe
vote
the
going on
ADD
right
in
now.
me loses interest in it. What's that?
I got a poll going up right now. Guess that D&D for our next segment, so they can choose between magic item spells or monsters. Put your votes in now.
Yay!
Joe says need construct law reform and better background checks on them. Oh, dude, have you heard? Oh, I don't want to get into politics. Never mind. We'll talk about that.
Anyway, so that's the new product that they've kind of released. Kind of looking forward to it. I'm gonna really enjoy the art, things like that. I'm kind of sad. I really wish it was more like a source book and not an additional campaign setting. That being said,
Well, maybe that's what the other one is. Like, do we know what? We still don't know, right? We don't know.
no, this is it.
No, it got pushed back to March for the announcement.
For the next thing, right? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is
So maybe March
is,
will have something amazing.
Well, it's because March is when they start planning their live event. And when they do their live event, it's normally fucking around the entire storyline. And that's what happened with Avernus. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna continue or what. I mean, I'm interested to see.
I guess we'll have to wait. Tune in March. Like we're not going to be on
I know,
every
right?
Tuesday until March. So there's that. So following that, we're going to wait till later on.
Yeah.
But we have a segment, which is Ben is going to. Why don't you explain it?
What?
Ben, explain our little segment.
Well, depending on what happens, what the vote is, whether it's the magic item, a spell, or a monster, I will either put up an image or give you a description of something, and you guys have to figure out what it is. Much like Name That Pokemon with a filled out creature. So
It's Pikachu!
I'm assuming I'm part of this now?
Yes.
So I'm not in on it? So what's the question?
So remember...
Hold on, I gotta get on. I'm gonna get on.
It wasn't last
no,
Tuesday.
I will tell you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so don't... okay.
So we're not going to know anything. He's either going to give us a picture, a description, or something of the like, and we have to guess what it is. This is kind of what we were doing when we were making your wizard. I was
yes,
like,
okay.
I was like, what does this spell do? And you're like, it does this. And I'm like, no.
Okay.
So I thought it was fun. I'm going to do that.
All right, let's do it.
I hope they choose monster. I really want to guess what it is based on like the silhouette.
Adam Polly. What is Adam Polly? What did I miss?
I don't know. Moving forward.
Sorry, Hamlet.
We wanted to talk a bit about the Eberron module that you ran.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I haven't ran the other ones. I think I want to run this a couple more times before I move on to the next module.
Yes.
To run it.
So real quick before we get into it, I'll read a couple of blitz about it, some of the credits, so we know what this is. This is the DDAL EB01.
Shout out to Sean Merwin.
Yes, is the designer. This is the Nightland, an Eberron Oracle of War adventure. The brokers of salvation pay good coin for artifacts scavenged from the haunted battlefields of the Mournland. In this nest of cutthroats, daring explorers gather to carve their destinies from the ruins of Kree. They'll need all the help they can get. It's no secret that most scavengers don't survive their first excavation. Oh my god, my nose is getting stuffy. Expedition into the Gray. So we have the designer Sean Merwin.
Yes.
The campaign story and development is by Will Doyle. Editing by Ashley Michaela Navigator Lawson. And the art direction and layout by Stacey Allen. So this is a pretty healthy, like it's thick. There's quite a few pages. I mentioned earlier that, you've got a ton of different monsters. You've got a couple of handouts.
Yeah, the maps that they give you aren't really well done for purposes of putting on the board.
Yeah.
So I just kind of use something, and then they don't provide. when we get there, I'll explain to you. There's a map that I wish they would provide that involves a train. And I'll explain why. And if it wasn't for Fritz, I would have been freaking out.
If it wasn't for Fritz, I would probably die. So this is a 4-hour adventure designed for Tier 1. Does it have the APL on it? APL 1. Sweet. So first level characters, if you're above first level, this is probably going to be a cakewalk.
Yay! It's going to be great. No, it's not.
Following
it's not
that,
a cakewalk.
It is a 4... Oh, it's got 4 parts designed to be 4 hours. The first thing that I want to actually break into is going to be the maps and the handouts. Handouts first.
Yes.
Well, actually... So where did you start? Did you just start reading from page 1 to the back? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And I started reading, and then I started doing my typical like freak out mind thing where I'm like going back and forth and doing all these things and trying to and like at one point Josh was like, just completely remove the monster like stats out of there. Like take them out, take the handouts out, take the map out, take all that shit at the very end out and just focus on what you need to read. And it really helped me to have to do that because I got frustrated with him, as I always do, like, you don't know better than me. And then I was like, maybe I should try that. And I did, and I was like, well, he was right. So I did that, and it really helped because I was like, okay, well, I can't go back and read the monster stats because it doesn't matter because I don't have them. So I read it, and I kept moving on, and it helped me get through the story, like the module faster.
Okay.
So that I wasn't like, and then it didn't like overwhelm my brain either. You know what I mean? Like it made me stay focused on what I was reading.
Cool. I would say, I mean, just by me straight looking at it, for me to really be able to DM this, I would have to do a dry run. Like I run the whole module to an imaginary group of people.
I was gonna do that, so yeah. I'm not crazy if I do that. Okay.
You're not crazy whatsoever.
For us, it's something that we need to be doing more for our conventions is having a session 0 is what they're called, where one person will DM it for the rest of the DMs and then discuss like the order of operations of things.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. You want to know who I really, 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 really wish I could have like gotten DM'd before I ever did this was with Xavier. Xavier's amazing at DMing, and like I watched him from a distance, and like his knowledge, because he has so much know of what's going on, and he's played a lot of these himself before others have by play testing, that like I would love to have him like just run it for me so that I could be like, oh, that's what you should do. Because he doesn't do a lot of like just fill in whatever I feel like. He does like what it says and then kind of like flavors it like his way, you know? Which is how it should be done. But it doesn't always have to be done that way. Not everybody. But for me, I'm like a perfectionist. So until I figure out how to story tell myself, I want to know what it's like to go by the module. You know what I mean? And I will add my own flavor to it. Because sometimes like I don't like how a certain person is portrayed or told to like sound or look in the story, and I kind of like change it up a little bit. I'm like, I think they should be more like this, and I kind of do that. And it still gets the story across, though. I
usually find that my first run at any point that I'm like doing an NPC or like any dialogue, my dialogue is very like choppy and not very fluid. I really have to like practice to be the person first before I'm really able to like, you know, like, it'll tell you like this person's voice sounds like this, or maybe this is their demeanor and blah, blah, blah. And like the first time I do it, it's really hard for me to kind of like get into the sway of it. And so I have to do it like 2 times before.
See, for me, I'm a singer. So for me, I've been one to like always have like a specific type of singing style for a certain type of song. So like when I'm reading things and I go, before I even read their text, like what they're supposed to answer, I like read like at least 3 or 4 times the description of the character.
That's fair.
So that way I can like really soak in like exactly what it says for that character, and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna read what they say, so that in my mind while I'm reading it, it's like coming out the way it's supposed to. And like I used to do that as a kid with singing. You know, and I would see the notes, and I'm like, and in my mind, I would do it, and I would kind of hum it, and like, I'm sure I look like a crazy person just talking to themselves.
You do,
like whispering, like Like I'm talking to spirits or something, you know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of how, I guess it's kind of the same method as you. I just don't do it out loud.
I do it out loud. I have to do it out loud. I like to, God, it's weird. I like to like look at myself in the mirror when I do it because it's like I'm watching.
I've done that
someone
before.
doing it.
Yeah.
That's what helps me the most.
I've done that.
Especially with like this mod. Like there were some modules you don't need to do that. Like oh god, Travis Woodall's the Cascadia, the beer run. What's the name of that module?
Vormenstrand's
Scroll. Vormenstrand's Scroll. I think it's written well enough that like I didn't have to do any crazy practicing. Like it was all pretty. Like it was very fluid. There wasn't anything that you really had to like memorize.
Yeah. It was like more like just things happening. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
So like I got to breathe life into the characters, but I mean I guess it's like this is a different setting and a different world.
There's a lot of like there's like goblins, but the goblins are good and you're supposed to go talk to them, and so like I feel like I had and one of them I felt for because it was a mom and her daughter is missing and like you're supposed to like help her find her kid, and she's supposed to be like a super happy person, and so she's like, when you come and like it tells you like when they come and ask you and they mention the bill, you are supposed to like your whole demeanor just changes to like sadness. And so like I told one of the players, like he rolled really high on like what his perception was on what was happening with her. Or he had a passive perception, I believe. And I was like, you remember like giving your mom a kiss on the cheek before you left for this adventure and how sad she got. And it reminded you of that same look.
That's good.
And he was like,
that's
okay,
really
all right. And like, and I wanted to, because for me as a mom, like I could feel that, you know what I mean? Like, oh God. And like guilt and sadness.
Bro, my favorite elements in D&D are when you get to run into those moral quandaries and those like real feeling scenarios. Like,
yeah, I had a lot of fun with the emotional part about it because, like I said, the two guys have. Okay, well, I'll explain to you what they do.
So, how much of this do you remember? Like, if I ask you about part 1, A Town Called Salvation, can you give me a brief about what it is?
Yes, this one I can explain. This one is like pretty much it's just you're introducing Salvation, which is like on the outskirts of the Gray, which is the Mournland.
Yes.
And so they have to go into the Mournland on certain ones, you know what I mean? And but some of them are just in this area, like it's an outpost area.
Okay.
So it's kind of it's really fucked up. Like it's I can't express to the players enough what they're like. Well, what am I looking? I'm like, it's like the Wild West meets Mad Max meets like holy shit, we're broke and we're trying to make the best of what we have.
People are walking around with like garbage as clothes.
Almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's like this group that has like a huge hole of mud and they built a construct above it to like have his office in. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so
yeah.
And it's made of like bones as the curtains and stuff like that. And so like it's very grungy. Like I can't stress to you how broke they're. Like when they're telling you that you get 10 gold pieces each if you bring back someone alive, like that's a lot of money in Salvation.
I love the contrast of A Town Called Salvation, and it's like, you know, the curtains are made of bones and it's like poverty.
Granted, it's like
Mad Max,
that's right outside.
Yeah.
The actual town of Salvation is like, the reason I say Western is because like the walls are made of wood, like panels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like that feel that it gives you. It's nothing like Sharn and the towers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the city towers. It's nothing like that at all. Like that's way more advanced and industrialized than what we're looking at in Salvation.
Gotcha.
Like it's like I said, think of like what it would be like if an atomic bomb dropped and what it would be like on the outskirts of that. You know, it would be
what is that? I'm
terrible.
I'm thinking of Fallout.
Yes. Like that's it's really shitty, you know? And then you meet Callie, who Callie is pretty much like everybody is tied to her. You all find out somehow that you all are going to be doing some work, and she's kind of like guiding you on what work to do.
Okay.
Because as I was a new DM, I didn't want to run it like you pick where you go, because you could run it like that. I kind of like made them go in order for myself.
That's fair.
You know, and it kind of helped the progression of the story, I think, also make more fluid sense.
I mean, yeah, one thing, that's actually a really good DM tip. You will run into adventures where the players have the opportunity to kind of pick and choose the direction they want to go. What you can do as a DM is you can just kind of elect which direction to send them in at first, especially if you feel like this is a more defining like story line, like you guys should probably go to like this one first, and then because that's kind of what I've been doing with you guys with the adventure, the essentials case.
Yes.
Is there's a board, you can choose all other things, and I threw that out the way. I was like, actually, you get to do it like this.
So what I did was I made it that Callie walks into the room, and like everybody they either told me why they're connected to her at the table, or I rolled for them because there's a little like D8 chart.
Oh yeah, so I like connections to Callie. So you get to kind of get the players to like, why is this person important to me? Well, she saved you from a kneecapping at the hands of Bromar, the clan extortionist in the alleys of Sharn, because you love your knees, and she saved them.
Yeah, there was one that was like,
she's your estranged daughter, sister, or mother.
Yeah, here's this one. You and Callie grew up in the same town or city, and you were childhood rivals. And like one of them got that, but it was a changeling. So they were like, the way I rolled it was like, Callie looks at you and goes, "There's something about your eyes. I feel like we know each other, you know?" And she's like, "But you know, I would assume if you're with the rest of these bunch, you know, you must be a good one." Mm-hmm. But like kind of always like kind of looking over.
She said, "You look familiar."
Yeah. And then the way I did it in order too that helped me like have a choice to do this is like, this is what you're going to do is like, Callie walks and she like pushes you guys to the side like, "Oh, you know, I see you're looking at the board." She's like, "You know, this is the one you guys should really do. This one I know is going to be good for you. You know, they really need the help." And I kind of like dropped that on the table for them, and that's
a good way to push it.
And that was kind of, and everyone's like, "Okay, cool, yeah." Callie said so, you know, because her characteristic, one of her things is like she's all about like loyalty. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so I wanted everyone to feel like they could trust her.
But secretly, she's the devil.
Well, everyone knows though that she's still a salvager. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much honor among thieves. And that's the thing about being an Eberron. You gotta understand that everyone's in it for themselves, and like only a few are really close, and you still don't know if that person's honest or not. You know, like it's really cool.
Did you run into any kind of big speed bumps when you're kind of? You're like we're gonna start the adventure.
The only speed bump was we had the cleric who needed to still make his character. You always have that one person.
Underprepared players.
Underprepared players. Tisk.
Yeah. So with that being said, that was the only thing. And then for me it was like the first time jitters. It was more so of like I kind of was like, yeah, I'm down for you to take your time and us kind of like figure things out. We had somebody that wanted to play at a table with their friends, so someone else came and they switched with them because they were a single player, so he was kind of like a new person I've never met before. And then next to him was another one I never met before, but that one was like my favorite player of the table. I wish I could remember his name. Hold on, you got a little fur right there. I wish I could remember his name because he was like the player that every DM like dreams of. Like, he was so patient, but at the same time he was in it with his imagination with me, and like he was like flow, like he took the hits, and I mean he didn't complain, and he was like, and he added to like his flavor too. I mean he was great. He was one of my favorites at the table. I loved all my players, but he was one of those where I was like, oh, I'm gonna reward you just for being amazing. But he had inspiration already most of the time anyway. So
also, so salvage board. So this is where you got your first kind of taste with handouts. So you had like 3 like handouts that were like the job boards. What you did something special.
Yes, I let me answer this question first. Marshall asked, how do I make a high-level campaign fun when your group is pretty much breezing through everything? So the Eberron guide actually takes care of that for you. And it's not just Eberron. I found that a lot of the new modules that are coming out, like even for season 9, are starting to be like, okay, so here's for super weak, strong, really strong. So you can actually have options, and most of the time when you're doing it, all it is just add more of like your red coats or whatever they're called, the red capes, and then
add more marshmallows,
add more whatever like the lower levels are, like add more skeletons, and it just adds that much more oomph. Or they would say like take the HP up X amount of whatever you think, like add another 10 HP to it, you know what I mean? Or armor class, add it like a couple more to their armor class.
I think he's doing a homebrew, and he's got like a mini deity coming up that's in a fight, and he's wondering how to make it more challenging.
Add more like whatever else is coming out with that deity.
I think terrains make things more difficult for players unless they're able to like fly. Anti-magic fields are good. Reverse gravity spell in a certain area.
Well, I got to play we played the T4. Mm-hmm. Remember you were playing the Cleric.
I was playing somebody else's Cleric. That was anxiety fucking town.
So in certain regards, a lot of it is put more towards like what your players are able to do. Anti-magic fields. I love them. Hate them. Oh, legendary resistances on everything. Oh, you cast magic. I have advantage to save it. Everything has that.
So yeah, having magical resistance is really good. So they have advantage on their saving throws. Most deity or avatars of deities all have legendary saves and legendary actions, as well as lair actions.
And I love the lair actions. I think that really kind of so you run into action economy issues when you have one monster versus a whole table, right? Where my one monster does one thing and then all this crazy stuff happens. Lair actions, I love them because you get to kind of interrupt the flow of things, still sow chaos and like have stuff happen. Love lair actions, definitely, and legendary actions. Do those, fantastic, and definitely magic resistance. There's I don't remember what it's called, but it's I failed to save. No, I didn't. You have to do that 3 times a day.
That's a legendary save.
I love that. DT has that. That's our amazing DT monster.
Hashtag Moist DT.
But yeah, what Ben was saying, terrain. Terrain, I think, really impacts the battlefield and makes it really fun and dynamic.
So one thing that's really cool in the QS modules, so like Window of the Past and those things, is one of the monsters that they fight, spoiler, is an undead bronze dragon that is corrupted by this deity. So every time it hits, it has the ability to give somebody rock grub.
Oh no.
But in addition to that, it's a paladin. It has the ability to smite good. It does necrotic damage instead of radiant damage. It's so good. But yeah, also doubling and then tripling, like, so you max out the hit points of what it would be, and then you double that. That's if they're like gung ho party that does 400 damage per round.
Like when you have Danny?
Yeah, you double and then you max and then double. That's the best way to keep your monster alive. It's just making it go several rounds, making them spend their resources.
That's
what I saw.
There was one thing that I was reading about because managing health pools can be kind of a nuisance. There is a way. So basically, you build your monster, you give it the HP, and you fight as normal. If they completely devastate the HP pool and kill the monster in like a single round, then what you do is you throw the HP out the window. You say F that, and it's invincible, and you just sit there and you just cause as much chaos and damage as you can until you kind of build a good storyline, right? And then like when it's like at that critical moment, you let the monster finally die. So you cheat everything. All in favor of like, giving them that fight, like the image of it.
There's like part of a lair action. So a lair action normally goes on initiative count 20. Mm-hmm. One of the really cool things in the module Forgotten Tradition, the very last boss in there, as a lair action, it shifts. So it starts out as like it's glowing orange and it's resistant to all damage, right? Hey-o! And then it shifts on its next layer action to make everything super windy. It glows green, so all range attacks have disadvantage against it.
That's cool.
Like there's a mechanical thing that you can do to make things shift and change. And
I like that. I really like that. The heavy wind. I've noticed that if you can impose disadvantage against like the ranged attackers, like with heavy wind or fog or anything like that, that in certain cases is just absolutely devastating, because you're like, oh, I'm a ranged caster or something like this, and then you're like, oh well, everything's heavily obscured, you can't target it, your ranged guys are out, done. Yeah. And I love that. So otherwise, just use DT. He's I don't remember what CR he is.
27.
Is he 20? No, he's not 20. He's like 18.
That one?
Yeah. I think he's 18 or 17.
I didn't make it. I don't know.
He might be 17. CR something. 26? 24. Oh yeah.
I was closer.
CR 24. Oof. He's a fun thing to fight. Don't fight him. He's terrifying.
We still haven't, have we?
No, we haven't. We have to. Well, one of these moments.
Is it? Can we do the psionic wizard that I'm supposed to be finishing up?
Yeah, but you need to be like 20th level.
We'll figure that out.
Like legitimately, like you need to be like 20th level to fight him, because he'll wreck you. He's got dimension scissors. Okay. He just cuts you up.
I'm not trying to brown nose here at all, but I just realized that like 5 or 6 of my favorite adventures are written by Travis.
Oh, you brown noser.
Well, we already know the what is it, the Tiny Deaths one?
1,000 Tiny Deaths.
1,000 Tiny Deaths.
I haven't gotten to play that one.
I haven't played that one either.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
I haven't gotten to play very much of these modules because I'm always working during these cons when we have them. So that's why I don't know. It's going to be funny because now I'm going to probably start running them now, and I'll never get to play them, and I'll just run them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to DMing.
Well, you know what? But see, I've always said you got to view DMing as you're one of the players of the group. You just get to know the secrets.
Bro, there's a lot. There's being a DM. Like once you kind of learn like the joys of DMing.
I felt like everybody's auntie, and I was holding their hands, kind of guiding them through like the park.
Here we go.
You're like, oh no, look at this, the jungle gym. It's actually a dragon.
Or
it's
you're
like...
or you play the cleric, and then you kill your friend, and then you devour him, while the rest of the party's in the back just hanging out, having a good time, and I'm dead because shenanigans.
I learned what we were just talking about with like learning how to level your group. I learned that in this part here, a rolling stone.
Yeah. Oh, the adjusting a scene.
Yeah. This is the one I was talking about. The mom finding her daughter and all that stuff. And there's a part where there's crystal drakes, and everyone's kind of first. At my table was a first level. Nobody. There was like maybe 2 of them that knew. Excuse me. That knew about the like background of Eberron, but not like super in depth.
Okay.
And so a lot of them didn't know. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with like a weak one and only throw 1 crystal drake. I didn't even make it around the table.
Yeah, fell to pieces.
Yeah, I was like, and it shatters and it's gone. And I was like, oh, dude, what am I gonna do here? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pump this up. I'm gonna pump it up. So on the next one, we're kind of speeding through it because we started late and everyone's kind of late. You know what I mean? So I kind of rush it. Now, the next part of this part 2, it's still within this. Okay, the next little area, not part, I guess I should say, so it doesn't get confusing. You're supposed to go and you find the daughter, right? And this is where you run into some cockatrices. And if you know what cockatrices are, then you know that there's something wrong with the daughter. And,
I see.
And so you have to like worry about how to do this. Well, you're supposed to figure out this train that's moving, and it's moving every 40 feet, right? And you have to do it within a certain amount of rounds. So I think it's 200 feet that once it gets to 200 feet, it starts to like hit the party and like cause problems, right? So you have X amount. If you could do the math, you can understand how many rounds you have to do. I didn't know the math. Fritz helped me out. Fritz did the math for me. Fritz made the map. Fritz was amazing and was like, here, I have the map actually. I made it the other night. Here you go. And I was like, God damn it, Fritz, you're amazing.
Oh, he drew it for you there.
Oh, he fucking drew it there?
Yeah, because I had extra maps. He grabbed all the extra maps and then drew it for you.
See, I have some practice. As a DM, I have some work to do. I'm not gonna lie. I got work. So
if Grunda's petrified form isn't removed from the tracks before the spectral train reaches it, she is smashed into pieces and killed.
I was trying not to ruin it.
What?
I was trying not to spoil it. You spoiled it. You're a spoiler.
After describing the situation, go into initiative.
So after that, after you do all this, like say, I just went ahead and made them go right into initiative. They had to like figure out Gundra. They had to figure out the other part to Gundra. I don't want to spoil that part of it.
Okay, well, but that is so I would have so much
There's
fun
something
with it.
special about Gundra that you guys find out, and you guys have to do something to make sure that gets taken care of. And then I just made the cockatrices come out because the way it's written is that at the end, if you save her or you don't save her, the cockatrices come out and then pretty much fuck with the group after that. And so I was like, okay, we're going to speed this up. The cockatrice is going to fuck with them at the same time that they're trying to do this and try to make them all scavenge and make it all happen at once. They destroyed the cockatrice. I only dropped 1. I should have dropped 2. Again, that was it was a learning moment for me, you know, as a DM. And so I was like, okay, I would have dropped for how they were struggling, but not how much I wanted them to struggle for this. You know what I mean? And so like I could have dropped 2 cockatrices on them and it would have been fine because of how they fucking
3.
slowed down the movement. And so like it's in the air and like slowing down, it can't drop. So by the time it finally gets on the ground, they did so much damage to it. So it was just like I could have totally dropped 2. I could have been like, here's 1. And then out of nowhere, another one comes out. You know what I mean?
So one thing, this is something that'll teach you, is adjusting the adventure, right? Have you looked at this?
I did, and Josh and he taught me how it goes. Like he taught me like adding the party's levels and then subtracting it by the party of the group. Like Josh was really helpful.
There's a real simple way that I think Danny taught me, and this has made my life so much fun and killed many others. So a general table, you know, 6 to 7, right? You know that the average party level is 1, right? If everyone at the table is level 1, you get to treat them as a strong party, like as a deadly, as very strong. It's just or strong. if they're like level 2 or higher, you get to make them super strong.
Yeah,
and
no,
so,
for
like,
sure.
In the cockatrice event, it's like there's 2 cockatrices that attack.
should've-
Unless they're very strong, there's 5 cockatrices that attack. You're like, what do you mean there's 5 birds of petrification?
And that marshmallow is how you fucking help your group. That's what I'm telling you.
Just add some petrification birds.
As you're reading this module, you see like the adjustments that are happening from the last modules that you've been reading. Like the fact that they give you that much adjusting and like help with the adjustment, I think is going to be really nice for the next modules that are coming out, because I think that for someone like me who's coming into the game, it really did help me figure that out. Yeah. And like, go, okay. And like, I didn't want to follow some of the advice. I kind of like resisted, like, no, I don't want to be that mean. And I was like, I should have been meaner.
So like the Saving Grunda event, right? First off, so it'll take 5 rounds for the train to reach Grunda, right?
Yes.
Unless you're a strong party, then it takes 1 less round. So it only takes 4 rounds. Not only that, but that little thing that's kind of like around Grunda becomes a freaking monster. And she gains like 800 pounds and is hard to move.
See, and that's why I feel that if I would have dropped 1 more cockatrice, it would have been just the right amount of like shit show that was needed for the circus that I was trying to create. You know what I mean? I love it. So
that's pretty cool. That's neat. Oh, so when you did part 2 with your table, did you run into any problems? Or, I mean, by the...
No,
I usually find...
the Crystal Drake was the very first in like roll initiative moment.
Yeah.
So that right there was like I said, that was like